Greetings to everybody. I hope everybody is well and happy and ready to discuss the Dhamma practice again tonight. Really, from Indonesia, you're the first tonight. So go ahead if you have anything to say.
Good evening, Ajaan, and today I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Okay, Kwan Liman from Malaysia. Kwan Liman.
Good evening, Ajaan.
How are you? You ready to ask anything?
Yes, Ajaan. The goal of our practice is to achieve jhana and then stop thinking and have a silence and silence the mind. So what is the next step when the mind is quiet and still, Ajaan?
You want to keep it still for as long as possible. Hours if you can. You just keep it still because that's where you will find real happiness. And the longer you stay in there, then the more you will become weary of everything else. You become tired, you become don't have any desire for anything. So the longer you have, then the more your contentment will grow, and the less desire will appear. But when you come out of this stillness and you start to think, this stillness, this sense of contentment can gradually disappear. So you want to go back again to recharge it, to refuel it. Because when your mind is contented, you'll find it easy to resist your defilement, resist your desire, your cravings. So this is the first level of practice, is to make your mind still and have equanimity for as long as possible, both when you're meditating and when you're not meditating. When you come out of meditation, you can maintain a certain level of equanimity by being mindful, by continuing to practice mindfulness to stop your mind from thinking. And you do this back and forth, in and out, until you become proficient. You are able to calm your mind anytime, even when you're outside or inside, when you meditate or when you're not meditate. When your anger starts to arise, you can stop it right away. But you can only stop it temporarily. It will not be totally eliminated. If you want to eliminate your defilement permanently, you have to develop vipassana, the next level. You have to see that what the defilement want is anicca, dukkha, anatta. So when you see that what your defilement want will give you dukkha, because everything that you want is anicca, anatta. So when you can see that clearly in your mind, you can stop your defilement permanently, your craving permanently. Each type of craving, not all types of craving, but each individual types of craving that you have seen with wisdom that it will lead to dukkha, and you will not want to crave for that particular object anymore. This is the second level of practice after you are proficient with the level of samadhi. You can calm your mind anytime, in or out, in meditation or out of meditation, because you will have strong mindfulness. Then if you can achieve that, then the next level is to eliminate your cravings, your desire, by teaching the mind that everything that your cravings desire for anicca, impermanent, anatta. We cannot control it all the time. We cannot keep it all the time. Sooner or later, you will have to lose it. When you lose what you like, what you want, then you will become sad. So once you know this, then you don't want to have that thing anymore, because eventually that thing will say goodbye to you, and then you will be sad. You don't want to be sad, so it's better not to have anything. That's the second level of vipassana. Okay?
Okay, thank you very much, Ajaan.
Yeah. So right now try to do a lot of samadhi, do a lot of mindfulness first, until you can control your thoughts and your defilement. Although cannot yet eliminate them, at least you are halfway there. If you can control your thoughts and your defilements, then the next step you then can eliminate your defilements completely, permanently by developing wisdom.
Yes, Ajahn, because when it is outside meditation, the mind is also quiet. So how do I anchor the mind when it is quiet?
Keep it quiet for now. Keep it quiet, both when you meditate and when you come out meditate. You have some time to let your mind be attacked by your defilement by exposing your mind to the five sensual objects and see what happens. When you see something you like, do you have the desire or the craving for it or not? Or when you see something you don't like, do you get angry or get mad at that thing or that person? Then see if you can stop your anger or your greed.
Thank you, Ajahn.
Okay, you're welcome. Next, Sajal from Silver Spring, Maryland.
Good morning from here, Ajaan. I have two observations that I want your opinion with. Is that because of my mindfulness is still quite weak and developing, I have noticed that when I'm with people in a crowded place, and I make it a habit to keep my gaze down, so that I don't look at them unless I'm in proximity with somebody, because that my thinking does not proliferate in that way. Because once I take a second look, then my mind goes to the judgmental mode, brings in history and all those things, and I find that helpful. That's point one. Second point is that I you have mentioned it many times, but I'm also reading a book on essential teachings, and for the last couple of days, maybe about a week, I have skipped one meal, and I have only before noon, and the fasting, this thing is I think I personally find is remarkable, and I see that it is actually kind of thinning out the mind in such a way that I kind of feel there is like helping calm already coming in. I think this is the second thing I noticed. I just want to mention that, Ajahn.
Yes, when you fast, you have to be more mindful of your mind, your thoughts. You don't want to let your mind go think about food, for instance. Because as soon as you think about pizza or hamburger, you get hungry right away. Even though not your body that is hungry, but your mind. So you know that you have to be mindful to curb this thinking. Don't allow it to think about food. Or should it want to think about food, then let it think about the food in the mouth after it's been chewed and mixed with the saliva, or the food in the stomach when you vomit it out. See whether it's still attractive, it's still delicious. It is delicious, but you cannot take it in anymore. So this is something one fasting can help you to maintain a higher level of mindfulness, and also to enable you to eat less, which will help you to getting rid of your drowsiness or sleepiness or laziness. So this is a good thing that you do. Meditators should at least start with the 8 precept, not eating after midday. And then if you go into intensive practice, then you might just eat once a day, or maybe eat once every 3 days. If you find this method is useful for you. For some people, they might not be able to use this method because they cannot stop their cravings for food, their desire for food. So when they fast, they find it to be very miserable. Instead of being useful, it becomes hurtful to them, to their practice. So they have to find some other method to help advance their practice. Okay, you have no question today? No?
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Next is Rusli from Indonesia.
Evening, Ajaan. I have no question tonight, Ajaan. Thank you, Ajaan.
Okay. Gary from Singapore. Gary.
Good evening, Ajaan. I'm listening in. No questions tonight.
Okay. Kenneth, professor from Switzerland. Are you teaching today?
Yes, Ajaan, I'm teaching every Tuesday now, just before your teaching. So
See.
trying to come back down now to calmness.
You got any question, any comment today?
No question. I'm just practicing as much as I can, especially the weekend. And I do find restricting the food intake is very helpful, actually, as you were just saying, very helpful.
Yes. Makes you feel lighter.
Yeah.
When you meditate or when you're walking meditation, you find it's easier. It's nothing to drag you down, like the weight of your body.
Yeah, I find that very, very helpful, actually.
Good. If you find it useful, you should try to use it for as much as possible.
Yeah.
Because the mind will not develop under normal circumstances. You have to subject it to some abnormal circumstance, like fasting, being in a remote place, or subjected to some form of difficulties or hardship. Then your mind will have to work harder to maintain peace and harmony.
Yeah. Yeah, I think practicing at home is too comfortable. So I'm trying to deal with the comfort factors that make it more conducive. Yeah.
Maybe you can try to set a certain space for your practice. It's like an empty room, nothing in it.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Just lock yourself in there.
Yeah. I'm on my own anyway, so it's quite easy to shut off. So it's good.
Because if you're near the refrigerator, if you're near the television, somehow your arm seems to be stretched out far enough to.
Yeah, I got rid of the TV, so that's okay.
Okay, good.
But I still have a fridge.
It's a necessity. It's just you have to keep it far away from when you're practicing, from while you're practicing.
Yeah.
Okay, no question today.
Oh, thank you, Ajaan. Thank you.
Okay. Next, Kafai Lim from Malaysia.
Good day to you, Ajaan. Today I have no question, just listening. Thank you.
Okay. Felicia Chan from Malaysia also.
Good evening, Ajaan. Today no question. My mindfulness getting stronger. Anumodana Ajaan Sadhu.
Okay, you're welcome. Next, Vita, you change your name.
Oh, hello, Ajaan. That's my wife's name. I'm not sure why the account changed.
Never
But I don't
mind. Yeah.
I don't have any.
Gavin is your name.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. No question today either.
Okay. Thank you, Ajaan.
Okay. Anduraji from New Zealand.
Good evening, Ajaan. Hello, can you hear me, Ajaan?
Yes, perfectly.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't have any question, but my observation also, I don't eat during weekend, so only one meal. So it's really helpful for my practice in the weekend. So that's I think that's a good way. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the factors that will help you advance in your practice is moderation in food, food intake. Try to eat as little as possible.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
But you have to eat to a certain amount to satisfy your body's need, but not your mental need, the physical need, because the mental need can be boundless.
Yeah, true.
All right, then let me go
thank
to.
you.
Okay,
Thank
let me
you.
go to Gek Yen So. Hi, Gek, from Penang, Malaysia.
Good evening, Ajaan. No question today. I'm listening. Yeah.
Okay, Karen from San Jose. Do you know the way to San Jose, Karen?
I do. It depends from where. I have two questions. One, I think I know the answer, but I want to hear you say it. I have aquarium fish, and I had them before I became Buddhist, and I take very good care of them. And now I feel obligated. Anyway, I feel sad that I participated in that business, but I take very good care of them. But one of the things that they need to be well cared for is live food. And so what I have been doing is hatching baby brine shrimp and feeding the baby brine shrimp to the fish. And I'm realizing that is probably breaking a precept. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I can take care of that. I can try feeding them dry food if that's acceptable. If not, I can give them away. Would it be okay if I fed them dried food, which would also have shrimp that somebody else killed?
Well, ideally, it's just to let them go. Let them
Okay,
live in the natural habitat. Put them in the waterway somewhere. And let them
Yeah, unfortunately, I would have to go to Brazil. Or, yeah, okay, thank you. I'll figure that out. My second question is, I'm struggling with the definition or the concept of anatta. I feel like I understand anicca, but anatta, I'm confused. And my understanding was that it was not self, basically like not ego. But the way you have been kind of describing it sounds more like a changing phenomena. And so I would like, which makes more sense to me. But if you have time to kind of just explain anatta a little bit for me.
Sure. Well,
Thank you.
The concept of self is a delusion, see. The truth is there's no self in anything. No self in the body, no self in the mind. But due to our delusion, the mind creates this concept of self in the body and in the mind. When in fact, both the body and the mind are natural phenomena, like the trees, like the wind, like the nature thing, natural thing. But we've been so ingrained with this concept of self to the point where we cannot be able to separate it or to see that there's really no self. And the only way for you to see this, there's no self, is when you meditate. And when your mind become completely still, then this the one, the sankhara, or the one that generates this concept of self will stop working temporarily. And then you find that it's left with just knowing. We call the one who knows.
Mm-hmm.
Then you see that the concept of self is just being generated by the mind when it's active. When it's become still, then this concept of self disappears. All that is left when you're in jhana is knowing and emptiness. So this is what you need to do to start seeing that there is no self in the mind. And once you can see that there's no self in the mind, it's easy to see that there's no self in the body. The body is just a biological organism, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is made up of the cells and so forth, and grow up by food and oxygen, air, and so forth, water. So it's a combination of the four elements, like a tree.
Mm-hmm.
The body and the tree are similar. The tree has to have water, has to have the food. Beside water is the soil, which is earth element. It has to have the air to breathe, and also has to have the right temperature, not too hot, not too cold, just like the body.
Mm-hmm.
So the body and the trees are really the same as far as the composition. No self in the tree. We can see there's no self in the tree, right?
Right.
But we cannot see that there's no self in our body. Because we keep thinking from the time of birth to right now that body is me, I am body. So when you think you are, like someone who said, when you think you are, then you are, right?
Right. I think therefore I am. Whatever.
Okay. I think I am, therefore I am.
Yeah.
It's just thinking. It's not real. It's just concept. So, but this you cannot be able to see it until you get your mind to deep concentration into jhana. That's when the thinking stops temporarily. Then you say, where am I? I'm gone. All that is left is just knowing.
Yeah.
Once you see this, then you want to teach your mind when you come out that there's no me, no you, no, just everything is the natural phenomena. The trees, the body is like the trees. It's gonna get old, get sick, and die, and no one can prevent or stop it from happening. And the mind just keeps thinking about me, me, me. So you have to tell them, this is not you. It's just you're just the one. You're just the one who knows. So you have to transform your role from being me to being someone who just knows. Be a knower, a knowing. Instead of trying to react to things, just react by knowing, not react by action, like words or body action. So this is what you want to teach your mind once you come out of your meditation, that the body is not you, there's no self in the body. The body is just like a tree. And the mind is just like a tree also. The mind, but it's different only that it is made up of the knowing element.
Okay.
While the body and the trees are made up of the four elements.
Okay. And thank you so much. And then when you have referred to other people, it's the same thing because they are they are like a tree as well.
They are trees.
So you're saying, yeah, everybody is
like
everybody.
Your house. There's no self in your house either.
Right.
And no one owns the house or owns the tree. No one owns nature. Everything belongs to nature. We only borrow it from nature to use it temporarily. Sooner or later, we have to give it all up to nature, give back to nature. Give the body back to nature, give your house back to nature. Everything will eventually deteriorate and break down and return to the original element from where you came from. So there's nothing, everything, we are living in a natural world where there is no self. The self is just delusion created by our own mind.
Okay, that makes sense. You know what's funny is the name of the fish tank that I have is ADA. The letters ADA. The other day I thought, oh my goodness, my fish is Anicca, Dukkha.
That's right.
Anyway, thank you so much. That's very helpful. That's all.
So the goal is not to cling to or attach to or possess and claim to belong to you. Because as soon as you claim something to belong to you, you have attachment to that thing. And you have expectation from that thing to be good, to be lasting. But due to the law of nature, everything will have to change. Everything will have to break down. When that happens, then you become sad.
Right.
But if you don't claim anything to belong to you, then it don't bother you, right? You don't claim your neighbor's house to belong to you, right?
Right.
So anything happens to your neighbor's house, you don't care, right?
Thank you so much. That's very helpful. I appreciate it.
All right. Next, Claudia. I don't want to pronounce your last name because I might pronounce it wrong again. Just Claudia is good enough.
Yes. So good afternoon from Germany. Yeah, Claudia is enough. And today I have a question and I would like to ask you for help. What I realize is since quite a while, I react pretty oversensitive when I'm confronted with suffering. So last week, for example, I saw how a bird was killed by a car, and I didn't get it out of I didn't get it out of my mind anymore. So I still avoid the place where I saw this. So I don't feel compassion. No, it's the wrong word. I suffer with the animal. So when I see this, it's in my mind and it doesn't get out anymore. And I don't know. So what can I do to cope with when I see suffering like this?
You lack equanimity, just to remain still, not reacting to what you see. And then you need wisdom to tell you that everything are natural phenomena. Like you have storm and you got the trees fall down, birds destroyed. These are all natural incidences that happen. Nobody's fault. Our only fault is to possess them and to claim to belong to us. And when you lose them, then you feel sad. But if you look at everything as belong to nature, not doesn't belong to you. And whatever nature does, that's up to nature. It's not for us to complain or to react anyway. For us, our goal is to be merely knowing what's happening and accept it for what it is. Then our mind will not be sad. And not happy either, just normal. Happy is not normal. Sad is not normal either. Not being sad or not being happy is normal for the mind.
Yeah, currently, it's really a challenge for me. So what I try to do is to tell myself, rather not to be, no, it's better not to be reborn again as a human, because we humans cause so many suffering for the animals. So I think the best way is to go to nirvana, to avoid any rebirth.
Yes, you should stop doing everything else and go live in a monastery.
If it would be that easy.
Why not? What's so hard about it? The Buddha, he did it. He just left the palace as soon as he realized he could no longer stay there. Just took off. He didn't say goodbye to anybody.
Yeah.
Because he knew if he said goodbye, he would be prevented from going away. So he has to sneak out of the palace.
Yeah.
See, the reason why you cannot do it, because you still are dependent on so many things.
Yeah.
To keep you happy. So as soon as you completely abandon everything and have nothing to rely on to make you happy, you don't know what to do with yourself. But if you know how to meditate and you can have peace and happiness from your meditation, then you don't need anything else.
Yeah.
So try to develop this meditation to the point where you can always find happiness anytime you want from your meditation.
Yeah.
Then you will find that you don't need anything else. You don't need all the sensual objects to keep you happy.
Yeah, that's true.
So the goal is to rely on your meditation to make you happy. And in order for you to succeed in your meditation, you have to develop mindfulness. You have to keep training yourself with mindfulness. Try to just be merely watching and not thinking. When you see something, just see, don't think. When you do something, just do, don't think. Maybe think a little bit of what you need to do, what you have to do, but not any more than that.
Yeah.
Don't complain when you're washing dishes. Oh, I hate washing dishes. I wish someone would do it for me. You don't have to think about these things. Just do it. Do what you have to do. And don't do what you don't have to do. Sometimes we do things that we don't need to do because we are busybodies. We cannot remain still.
Yeah, this is true. It's very helpful.
Yeah. Do meditation. If you find there's nothing to do, then do meditation.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what you need to do a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like to do meditation. So meditation time is always quality time for me. So
yes, you should try to make it as much as possible. Try to create more time for your meditation. Provide more time for your meditation.
Yeah.
Exchange your other activities with meditation instead.
Yeah. This is a very good advice. Yeah.
Yes. The more you meditate, the more happiness you will have. And then the less you need for things. You have no, the less you need for things when you're happy with meditation. Eventually you find that you can live simple, which is the basic necessity of life.
Thank you for this advice. It's very good.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right. Remember mindfulness from the time you get up to the time you go to sleep. Stop thinking. Just keep watching what you do.
This is a very good reminder for me, not to think, keep watching, and yeah, very good to know.
Only think when you really have to, but otherwise there's no need to think, don't think. Don't mesmerize, don't imagine, don't daydream.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome. Next, Philip and Adeline from Malaysia.
Good evening, Tanajan.
Good evening, Tanajan.
We don't have any questions tonight, listening in.
Okay. Alfredo, Mr. Ubeka. Hi.
Hi, Bert.
How are you?
How are you?
From Brazil.
Yes.
Good to see you. You're always smiling. You're always happy. That's because you
yes.
live alone. That's because you live alone, right?
Today now is the very good, very important holiday. Child Day.
Childhood Day.
Child Day. Child Day.
I don't understand it, but anyway, it doesn't matter.
The day of the son of her father.
No, day of the son of the father, child. Okay.
Child Day.
Or children day.
Yes, yes, Children Day.
Okay, Children Day.
Yes, you have to be a good person with children, Bante. Children not understand the things, but children is natural.
You have to be good with everybody, not just the children. Because everybody are children, really. They never grow up. It's only the body that grow up, but the mind still, they're all children.
Yes.
Your mind don't change much from the time you were born until what you are now. Your mind is pretty much the same. Unless you practice meditation and Dhamma, then your mind will change. But otherwise, you'll still be the same. You will still be emotional. You will still be,
yes,
unreasonable when you're angry.
Yes. Children not practice, but children is natural peoples, that but
they're more innocent, let's put it that way.
Yes.
So they seem natural. They don't hide like older people. Older people will start to hide.
Yes. not anger. Only desire. Anger, no. Desire, a lot desire.
Okay. Yes.
10 years ago, I saw the knower. No? It's very good. What? It's very good.
Are you seeing it today? You should see it now.
No, it's impossible, but no, is for Jana, it's difficult. 10 years ago, I entered for 2 days, but now it's impossible.
As soon as you stop thinking, you'll see the knower right away. The knower is being blocked by your thinking.
Yes.
So just try to stop thinking, and then your knower will appear.
Yes.
Like the moon, the moon will appear after the sunset, right?
Yes.
So you'll see the knower when you stop thinking.
Yes. And for me, the knower is the Forjana, né, Bante? Is Upachara, is Abinas, is a very, very strong mind. But exists a little knower.
That's a little, okay.
A little knower.
Briefly, not long enough.
Briefly knower, not longer.
Okay.
Yes.
You have to keep doing mindfulness, practice mindfulness. Try to stop thinking as much as possible.
Sati Sampajana, all day.
Yeah, Sampajana. Okay.
Sampajana.
All right, good. Any question today?
No, for other people's Pachikula, the meal is not so good. The meal is
particular dirtiness of food.
The food is estragado. The food.
Yeah. Once it enters your body, it becomes dirty. Once you spit it out, no one wants to eat it.
Okay. Not eat if not necessary.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Let me go to the next people. Sri and Czech from Vancouver. Any question today?
Ajaan, just now you say sad is not normal and happy is not normal. You also say you keep the mind, like you get happiness for the mind by replacing like the sensual desire with meditation. So it's a different.
Yes, it's a different type of happiness. The happiness that arises from calm. It's not the kind of happiness that we get from sensual objects. They are different things. Because the happiness that you get from sensual objects or the sadness, they involve the action of the mind. The mind has to be active when it's happy or when it's sad. It's because it is the one who's creating the happiness and sadness. But this type of happiness is short-lived. And when it disappears, it leaves you empty, right? You have a birthday party today, you're so happy, and tomorrow it's all gone. Short-lived. But with the happiness of being calm and still, it can, as anytime you remain still and calm, you're always happy. You don't need to have a birthday party, or you don't have to have Christmas party or anything like that to keep you happy. And also it doesn't generate any sadness either. Because when you lose your happiness, then you become sad, right? So you might swing back and forth with these two. Either you're happy or you're sad. And if you're not happy or sad, you're not happy either. But with meditation, when your mind becomes truly still, and it will become happy by itself. It doesn't need to have anything to make it happy. So when it doesn't need anything to make it happy, then nothing can make it sad either. Because the reason why you get sad is because when you lose something that makes you happy, right? So it's another kind of happiness. Maybe I don't know what kind of word to use, but since we live in a conventional world, we use happiness. But it's a different type of happiness.
So, Tan Ajaan, like for this type of happiness, is there a level, like the happiness of mind that depends on when you meditate, that depends on the level of jhana?
Well, you have to get to the fourth level of jhana to really experience it, to really feel it. Otherwise, you might feel a little bit of it, like dewdrops, not the heavy rain that you will feel with the jhana. And then this is also a temporary level of happiness. You experience it when you're in jhana, and when you come out, this feeling of happiness will gradually disappear as your mind becomes more active. And then if you want another level, which is the permanent level of happiness, permanent level of jhana, then you need to use wisdom to get rid of your defilements. Because it's your defilement that is the one that's causing your mind not to become still. Your defilement is the agitator of the mind. While your mindfulness is the calmer of the mind. So the mindfulness and defilement are in oppositions. If one side is weak, then the other side becomes strong. If the other side is strong, then the other side becomes weak. If you have mindfulness, strong mindfulness, then your defilement become weakened. If your mindfulness become weakened, then your defilement becomes stronger. So you want to keep your mindfulness strong all the time. Like sampachanya, always mindful. Always able to stop your thoughts and your emotions. Then you will then keep your mind calm and happy without having to have anything to make you happy. no people or things that you need to make you happy if you have a calm mind, a peaceful mind. Okay?
Ajahn, what about the happiness from listening to Dharma?
That's also the calm mind. When you listen to Dhamma talk, your mind becomes calmer. You stop thinking about making money, stop thinking about preparing yourself for the holidays, and so forth. You forget about the worldly things because you're concentrating in listening to the Dhamma talk. It's a rough form of meditation, really. Instead of using the mantra or chanting, you use the Dhamma talk as your object of meditation, object of focus. And you get two things really when you listen to Dhamma talk. It calms your mind, and also it teaches your mind with wisdom. That's why you will learn all the wisdom from the Buddha by listening to Dhamma talks or studying Dhamma books. You can read Dhamma books and you feel like you're meditating also. Because your mind is focused on the reading and absorbing the knowledge that as you read, and you have knowledge, and you also have a certain level of calm. Not completely like jhana, but it's in between the normal and the deep level of calm. So what you should do is either listen to Dhamma talk, walking meditation, or focus on what you do when you're working. These are all methods to calm your mind, to stop your mind from thinking about other things.
Ajahn, if I don't no longer enjoy for example parties and I find like a lot more joy in listening to Dhamma and meditation, meaning that I get a little bit of taste of the happiness that
yes, the taste of Dhamma excel all other tastes. As soon as you found the happiness from the Dhamma, either by meditating or listening to Dhamma talk or reading Dhamma books or practicing Dhamma, you'll find that it's much better than the other type of happiness. So you start to switch, like the railroad track. You start switching tracks from the old sensual objects to the Dhamma objects instead.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And then you'll find that being alone is much happier than being around people.
Right.
Because people are sometimes very confusing and very agitating. So it's better to be alone. When your mind can become calmer, easier being calm when you are alone. And you can concentrate your mind easier than when you are around people or things. So it means that you have start to develop a taste for the Dhamma. And then you'll find that you want more and more of the Dhamma.
Yeah, right.
And other people might think you are becoming unsocialized, not socialized.
Right.
You start to become an introvert instead of an extrovert.
Loner.
That's normal. That's normal. Loner, but not lonely. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one, Ajahn. Lonely, but not lonely.
That's the truth. That's the truth. If you have Dhamma in your heart, then you want to be alone, and you're not lonely either.
That's so good. That's a good one.
Okay. Anything else?
Can I have one more question, please?
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay. The Buddha sometimes refer. The Buddha refers himself as the Tathagata. I'm wondering what that means. The Tathagata.
I knew it some time ago, but I forgot. Something like being here and being gone, or something like that. Tathagata. You have to look up in the Pali dictionary. I think you'll get a better definition of it.
Oh, okay. All right, Ajahn.
But sometimes he refers to himself as the one who knows, the knower, the Buddha. The word Buddha means the one who knows.
Oh. The word Buddha means the one who knows, not the one enlightened, not enlightened. Not,
The knower, it means the knower.
The knower. Oh.
The mind, the knowing element.
Oh.
It means that he has become enlightened and he has got rid of the notion of a self in himself.
Oh.
And all that is left, which is a knower.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, you have to be enlightened to realize this, to realize the knower. To realize that there's no self, there's no me.
Mm.
The me is the knower.
Mm.
Then you will.
He's the one that like nobody knows that word before, like the Buddha. Like, I mean, he was the one that used the word Buddha.
Yeah, he uses the word himself.
Mm.
Okay.
Right, thank you, Ajahn.
As far as the scripture or words, Pali words, I'm not very proficient because I didn't do much studying. I concentrate more on the practice.
Yeah. Right.
And then the knowledge you realize is mental knowledge. There's no language in your mind.
Yeah.
What you see, what you know, what you understand.
Mm-hmm. That's why your explanation is so much better. Like so much, like it's right to the core, to the heart. When you explain something.
Use the normal language, the language that we use.
Yeah. Right.
Don't try to use archaic language like the Pali, for instance, which was used 2,500 years ago, and nobody is using it now. Amongst that, they have to know this thing to impress people that they know something. When really they're like parrots, they can recite words, but they don't understand what they're talking about.
Exactly. That's so true. Yeah.
All right.
That's why your teaching is so like, wow, I find it so to the heart, like right to the core and like so good, Ajahn. Thank you, Ajahn.
Okay. Yeah. I hope you can apply it in your practice, getting rid of your defilement.
I hope so too. Okay, I want to, Ajahn.
Yeah, that's the purpose, really. The Dhamma purpose is to get rid of all your defilement, your attachment to all things that is impermanent. Okay. So ask yourself, what is impermanent? Then you have to get rid of your attachment to that thing. If you don't want to be sad later on, because sooner or later when impermanent happens, then you lose something you like, then you become sad. But if you don't cling to something you like, you know that it's going to leave you one day, then when it happens, it doesn't bother you. Because you prepare your mind for the eventuality already. Okay? All right. Then we go to Belinda from Singapore.
Hello, Ajahn. I don't have questions today.
Okay.
I have a comment about what Alfredo has said, Children's Day. So last Friday was also in Singapore, we have Children's Day.
Okay.
And I also like to comment what Ajahn has said. Yeah, it's true that all of us are still children. And then also explain why sometimes people with dementia are elderly. And they also like children.
Yeah, they act like children, especially when they have no control of their thoughts.
Yes, there are many thoughts still proliferating in the back of my mind. So I'm doing my best as I just observe, and also there are times where I cannot be more mindful. I couldn't be more I can't go back to breath or be focused. So the mind is still agitated thinking. But I'm doing my best to
recite a mantra, some short chanting, like Buddhang Saranang Gacchami or Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Keep reciting this thing. It can stop your thought, your mind from thinking.
Even when I'm doing something like cooking, showering, can I contribute to it?
That's right. You can do it. If your mind keeps thinking, if your mind can think about other things, why cannot you think about the Buddha, chanting about the Buddha, chanting about the teaching, the Dhamma teaching?
It's easier to chant in front of the Buddha statue at home.
That's the normal way people are accustomed to. But in the practical way, you can chant anywhere, anytime, because it's like a medicine to cure your mind with restlessness and agitation. So when you feel restless and agitated, you should start chanting right away. That's the purpose of chanting, not waiting for 6 o'clock in the evening to go sit in front of the Buddha and then chant. That's not the practical way. The practical way is to use it as soon as you need it.
I just sometimes when the mind is very agitated or very defiled, I find that chanting sort of backfire. Where
it backfires because you don't want to. That's all.
The mind has habitually refused to
refuse. The mind wants something that it used to have to calm it down. See? But you know that the thing that the mind wants to calm your mind down is bad for the mind, because it can only calm briefly, and then it will start to become agitated again. But if you use Dhamma, then you know that it can calm your mind and has no side effect. Doesn't cause you to become addicted to the Dhamma. But if you use something to calm your mind with, you become addicted to that thing. Like if you have to drink to calm your mind, then when you're not calm, when your mind is not calm, you look for the drink again. See? You become addicted to the drink. And then even when you're calm, you still want to drink because you're so used to drinking that you cannot you just have to have it even when your mind is not agitated, because you become addicted to the cure, to the medicine. But this medicine is harmful to your body. But with the medicine of the mind, of the Buddha, of the Dhamma, it's not harmful to the mind, to the body or to the mind. Chanting is not harmful to your body or mind. It can get rid of your restlessness and agitation, just like drinking. But the side effect, there's no side effect with the Dhamma, with the chanting.
So if suppose when the mind is in a very bad emotional, very defiled, and then the attempt to chant is still unable to, I do notice my mind would, if it's thinking, then I would think with the compassionate way of seeing things. If I perceive someone making me angry, then I would rationalize with compassion or sending myself compassion. Is it okay to cope with that also?
Well, can you actually do it or not? It's hard to be compassionate to someone who hurt you, right?
If I put someone else in front of me first, then to put my pride or ego in front.
Yeah, that's easy to say, but can you do it? That's the problem. We always put ourselves before other people, right?
Yeah, there's still underlying, like when I do that, I expect the person to reciprocate. So if that person not reciprocating, then the pride or the ego still so it's not quite the solutions, but maybe how Ajaan, if when we can't really chant and get very defiled emotionally,
use wisdom. Look at the situation that's causing you your problem that is beyond your control, like the storm or the wind or the flood. When they happen, what can you do? You just have to learn to live with it. So if you're being stressed by some situation and you cannot do anything about it, then just look at that situation like a storm or like a flood. And then what you know, there's nothing you can do to the storm or to the flood, right? All you have to do is manage yourself to keep yourself safe from the storm. But you don't want to change the storm, to calm the storm down. Sometimes you want to change the situation, to make the situation better. But it's beyond your control, it's beyond your ability. So the only way is to let it be.
So if I feel that this, like my mind, is the mind that is reacting, and we know that, like, we don't want to be angry, we don't want to.
Yeah, you have to accept the situation. You have to accept the situation. Then you don't get angry or sad or disturbed by what you see or hear.
So suppose when I feel I cannot control my mind, can I see it as anatta, and I just let it be as a knower?
Just be a knower and don't react to whatever is happening in your mind.
So if that happens, I can try keeping in mind.
Just remain calm. Remain calm and let everything boils over. If you can do that, but normally you can't. You want to react. You want to manage. You want to control things.
Yes. Or you, yes. Or you. I also find that whenever I'm in distress, this habit. I don't drink. More the coping is more like I like to talk. It can be any topic, and I keep talking to someone, so that I can get away. If nobody talks to me, I talk to myself, or I get into.
Okay.
But there's awareness, knowing that is way I cope the anxiety sometimes.
Well, if it works for you, then it's okay.
But Ajaan, is that escaping?
Well, it's like chanting. Chanting, you're talking to yourself with chanting yourself.
Okay.
But so you might not know what you're chanting. You don't know the meaning of the chant, but you keep chanting it anyway, to stop your mind from thinking about the things that make you unhappy.
So we practice every now and then until the mind get used to.
Yes.
Used to it. Thank you,
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Next, B. Ravin from Bangkok.
Good evening to you, Ajaan. I have an observation and a question today. So my observation is actually based on what Sajal and Alfredo said earlier about food. I actually try to observe myself over the past few months, because I've been skipping dinner for almost a year now, and I found that it's really helped in terms of my mindfulness and my alertness, and reduced my drowsiness. And I've also stopped eating between meals, which I used to do earlier. And I found that this has really helped. And taking a step back and observing, I find that it's true that eating is actually a defilement of the mind. We tend to think we need to eat, find snacks to eat or find drinks. But the fact is, our body can actually live off eating, just 2 meals a day. So that's an observation I'd like to share with you.
That's right. The body is like an automobile. You don't fuel the automobile every 15 minutes, do you? You fill it up once and then you just drive until you need to refuel it again. Same way with the body, you should just fuel it up once and then you can forget about it until the next day. 24 hours. Yeah. Once you have a full meal, this full meal will last you for 24 hours. Will keep the body going. but your mind still remain hungry, even though how many times you keep eating, your mind still not satisfied. It still wants more, because to the mind, food is like a drug, a junkie drug.
Yes.
So addiction, food is an addiction, like narcotics, but we don't call it that because everybody is doing it, and you cannot pass a law to prevent people from eating too much. That's why you have obesity all over the world.
That's true.
That's defilement, sensual pleasure, desire for pleasure from eating.
Yes, I observe that it's very easy to fall for it as well. Sometimes, when I go to the movies, you're tempted to find something to eat, but in fact, you don't need it, but your defilements tricks you into thinking that you need to.
You don't need even to go to the movie. That's also defilement.
Yes, that also.
See, the movie is your video and audio pleasure, while your popcorn is your taste pleasure. See? They are all sensual objects. See? So you want to have as much as possible in order to keep you happy. That's why you need to do a lot more meditation. Then you can stop this activity entirely, eventually. The more you meditate, the more the mind becomes content. Then you find that there's less need to have anything to make you happy, because you can be happy with just with meditation. Okay, keep doing it. Try to maintain what you do, or increase it to a higher level if you can. Try to eat less. Eat only when you really have to. Don't eat for pleasure. Eat for the purpose of filling up the body, like filling up the tank of an automobile.
Yes, I find it really useful. And I think it's also good for my health, because if I eat too much, I will become obese.
Overweight, and you have problem, blood pressure, heart problem. So all kinds of problems will arise if you eat too much.
I also find that eating too much makes me drowsy.
Yes, lazy also. You want to look for pillows instead of meditation or walking. You say, "Oh, I'll pass now. I want to take a rest." Yeah, it's good. It's good. That's why the Buddha prescribing his teaching that in order to be successful in your meditation, one of the factors you need to have is to moderation in eating. The second one is to have seclusion, have a quiet place to meditate where there are no distractions to disturb your concentration. And the third factor is to maintain mindfulness at all times. If you can do this, you will find your meditation practice will advance very quickly.
Yes, I agree on the second point and the third point, and I've experienced both of them personally. I often look forward to weekends now because I set myself a time to do meditation because I don't have to work on the weekends. So whenever I'm alone and I can focus on meditation, I actually feel content.
And the fourth, okay, good. I forgot there's also the fourth factor is to abstain from sensual activity.
Oh.
Because if you're not, then you won't have time to meditate.
The last one is a challenge.
Yeah.
Very difficult. I know that. It's very tempting.
Yeah, okay.
And so that's why I need to try to develop more mindfulness to curb my sensual desire.
Yeah. Yes, as more mindfulness, the you have, then it's easier for you to stop this sensual desire. Okay?
Yes. So actually, I think, Tanajan, you've actually answered my question, which was how to curb my sensual desire. I think you just answered it by meditating and being more mindfulness at all times.
And being away from sensual objects as much as possible, as far away as possible. Because when you're near sensual objects, you're tempted to go after it. It's a temptation. When you're near a refrigerator, you're tempted to open up the refrigerator and see what's inside. What can I eat? What can I drink?
That is certainly true, because I find that, before COVID, I would go to the malls during the weekend and I would always come across a lot of things. Oh, I want to buy this, I want to eat that, I want to do things. Now that I'm at home, I feel that there's less distraction in terms of those, defilements.
Right. So try to stay away from the sensual object as much as possible. Okay, don't have easy access to them.
That is something I will need to work on, but it's something that I will certainly try to improve on.
But for most people, they want to have easy access to all these sensual objects, right? That's why they pack in the house full of things. So when they need them, they can just grab it at them right away.
That is certainly true, and it happens subconsciously as well. If I don't try to remind myself, what am I doing? I end up, I'm indulging again.
That's why you have to go spend some time in the monastery where there's nothing. Inside your room, there's nothing except a bed for you to sleep, and nothing else to tempt you. And then you have no distraction. You can meditate very easily.
That is certainly true. Even the nice mattress is also a distraction.
Yes, they can become what you call attachment. Once you use it, then you need to have it. If you don't have, you feel you're lacking something.
It's quite, interesting how when we are content with something and when we come across something that we haven't had before, we end up being attached to it and then cannot live without it, which
That's
is
right. So it's better try not to have anything new and try to get rid of some of the old things. Ask yourself, do you really need it or not? If you don't need it, throw it away. Give it to somebody else.
Declutter.
Okay.
Yes, thank you, Tanajan.
All right, you're welcome. Margarita, where are you from? I think this is your first time here. Singapore. You have to unmute your microphone. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Hello, Tanajan. Actually, this is hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh yeah, okay. This is the third time, Ajaan.
I see.
Okay, from Indonesia.
From Indonesia, okay.
Yeah. So, I would like to ask about I think I quite addicted in chanting because every day, even in daily life, when I'm working, when something not going well or someone makes me angry, then I keep chanting Buddha, 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 and it's become a really daily habit, and I don't feel angry anymore lately, but I cannot say that I feel happy also.
That's because your mind hasn't calmed down completely yet. So at least you're not unhappy, but you're not happy. You're halfway there. So if you want to be happy, you have to sit still and meditate.
Yeah.
And continue on chanting Bhutto, Bhutto, Bhutto. Then your mind will become still eventually. And you'll experience the happiness from the mind being calm, being still. But chanting while you are doing something, this will calm your mind down from restless, from agitation down to normal, to the normal level.
Yeah, I can work better when I keep chanting.
Good,
because
good.
I feel like feel more focused on everything.
That's why this is a way of building up mindfulness,
Yeah,
or concentration.
that's right.
Yeah.
And also, Ajahn, I would like to ask about. Actually, you already talked about it from the previous person. Like, I think I don't feel so angry anymore to a person who hurt me for a long time and quite deeply, but I still cannot do any kindness to him. But is there any way for me to practice so there will be a day when I can do the kindness to him?
You might need some situation to force you to do it. Like if that person gets sick and needs help, then you might feel maybe you can do something for that person. But
I don't wish that to be happen.
Well, you never know. But I'm just speaking theoretically. Sometimes you need some situation to make us become more compassionate, being kinder. Like we tend to be more compassionate to our fellow human being when we are in a bad situation like flooding or storms, and when people need help, then our compassion or kindness will come up easier than normal time. But it's okay as long as you don't hurt them. If you cannot be kind to them, it's okay. It's not considered bad not to be kind. It just means that you're not good enough yet to be kind. But you're not bad when you're not kind to other people. I mean, if you don't hurt other people, but you don't do anything for them.
Yeah. Okay, so I just keep my practice then.
Yeah.
Maybe one day.
I'll try to be kind to people that you can be kind to.
Okay.
Or kind to animals.
Oh my God, I really I really scared of every animal. I think that's also my practice. I'm really scared of cat, dog, and everything. Birds. When I do my vipassana retreat, every time there's always big spider come to my room, and then there will be bird keep flying in front of the door, and then I cannot go in. So many things about bird animal that I really scared. So I still practice about that also. Yeah. Is there anything I can do except like other than chanting? Because every time I see cats next to me when I do my running morning and my jogging, I will keep like Buddha, Buddha, Buddha. I don't want to see the cat. So
okay, you can use Buddha, that's good enough also. Keep your mind calm and have some equanimity, and then maybe you're able to cope with them.
okay. Yeah.
All
I use
right.
chanting for everything, I think.
Yeah, everything is good with chanting. It's good for everything. Whether you're sad or you're too happy, you can also chant to bring your happiness down a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, I'll just keep doing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So no other question.
No other question.
All right.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you, Ajahn.
Then we go to Darren. Darren, are you listening? From Singapore.
Hi, Ajahn. I have one question regarding the meditation object, Buddha. May I ask, when one is using that meditation object, what is the intensity that one should be reciting internally? In a way, the speed, is it be very fast or is it must be very, very slow? I mean, Ajahn advice on this.
It depends on your state of mind. If your mind becomes more restless, then you might have to recite the mantra faster to catch up with the restlessness. But if your mind is not restless, normal, then you can just recite normally.
But sometimes I occur that when I chant normally and the mind is, wouldn't say very peaceful, but it's just a bit quieter, I realize that the word disappeared. I have to bring a word back again. Is that normal?
Yes, you have to keep bringing it back because the mind just doesn't want to do the reciting. So you have to force it to keep reciting in order for for you to prevent your mind from thinking about other things.
Okay. Okay, that's all, Ajahn. Thank you so much.
And eventually your mind will become calm. It will become still with the reciting of your mantra. If you keep reciting, when it becomes still, it's like falling from a high place. But you cannot anticipate when you do. You just don't anticipate the result. Just keep reciting the mantra. And then when the mind stops thinking, it will feel like it's falling from a high place, which is not harmful to the mind, because there's nothing below that will hurt when it touches the floor. There's no floor. It just becomes, the floor is calm, peace, and happiness waiting for the mind when it falls from a high place. So some people become afraid and they experience the feeling of falling from a high place. But it's okay. What's down below is happiness, calm and peace, waiting for the mind. Let it fall. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Ajahn. I will do my best. Thank you.
Don't react. Don't try to pull the mind back. Oh, don't fall. Let it fall. Okay, Alvin, next. Malaysia.
Good evening, Ajahn. I'm just listening. No question tonight. Thank you.
All right. We have Nanapan from Bangkok. Nanapan, you have any question?
No question ค่ะท่านอาจารย์
Okay. Johanna from Indonesia.
Yeah. Good evening, Ajahn.
Yes, you have any question?
Yes. Ajahn, may I ask about Anatta Lakkhana Sutta? There is a sentence which Buddha said about estrangement. When one sees the anatta in Panchakanda, one will find estrangement in Panchakanda, then following with passion being fading out, and then one be liberated. May Ajahn please enlighten me about the correlation between seeing anatta and finding estrangement?
Well, I don't want to really try to interpret the scripture. I can only explain in terms of what happens in your practice. When you see that the five khandha is anatta, it means you see that it is not you anymore. It doesn't belong to you. Like you've been using somebody's automobile, and then one day somebody came up with a certificate and said, "This is not your car. It's my car." Then you say, "Okay, I give it back to you." That's what estrangement means. To realize that you are owning something that doesn't supposed to belong to you, and then somebody come up and said, "No, this thing doesn't belong to you. It belongs to somebody else. You have to give it up, return to the original owner." Okay. So when you see that anything as anatta, I mean, they don't belong to you. It belongs to somebody else. So don't own it. Don't possess it. Give it away. Or if you still need it, you still use it. Just you have to know that you're gonna have to give it up one day, sooner or later, like your body, for instance. The body isn't you. It doesn't belong to you. It's like an automobile you borrowed from nature, and one day nature will call and ask for the body to return to nature again.
So Ajahn, what is the best practice to see this anatta until we can have this estrangement perfectly?
Just don't be attached to anything, because everything doesn't belong to you. Even though legally or conventionally they are yours, but naturally or in the eyes of the Dhamma, nothing belongs to you. Everything are temporary possession. One day you will be forced to give it up.
Yeah. So I have to keep reminding myself every day.
That's right. Keep reminding yourself that everything that you have now, including your body, doesn't belong to you. You borrow these things from nature, and one day nature will ask for the return of these things.
So this is quite the same with the contemplation of death, right, Ajahn?
Well, that is part of this contemplation.
Oh.
That is the dissolution of the body, the returning of the body to nature. But other things also return to nature or return to somebody else. When you die, your house goes to somebody else, or your money goes to somebody else. You cannot take them with you.
Yeah. Okay, Ajahn.
Okay, so don't be attached to anything. And when you're not being attached, you feel comfortable, you feel easy.
Yeah.
When you're attached, you will have worry and anxiety because you want to keep things that you are attached. But when things don't go according to your way, then you become unhappy and sad. So be ready to lose everything. That's what I'm trying to say. Everything that you have, that you own, one day you're gonna lose them all because they don't belong to you permanently.
Including this body of ours.
What?
Including this body, our body.
Yes, your body also. Everybody's body also. Will one day be claimed by nature. The water element will claim the part that belong to it. The earth element will claim the part that belong to it. The air, the wind element, the heat, the fire element. The body one day will just disintegrate into these four elements.
Yes, I think I find it easier to let go of possession, but letting go of the concept of there's a me, it's harder like that. I have to let go of that attachment, I think, Ajahn.
You have to meditate. You have to meditate to get samadhi first. It's the fourth jhana. Then you'll find it easy. Now, once you have that, then you'll find it easy for you to let go of everything. Because you've discovered your true self, which is the knower. And you know this is the only thing that you will never lose, is the knower. Everything else you will lose. Then you hold on to the knower. Because that's the only thing that you have that belongs to you. Everything else doesn't belong to you.
Yes, I'll try my best.
Okay?
Okay, thank you, Ajahn.
Okay. Next, Ricardo from Uruguay.
Hi, Ajahn.
How are
Nice
you?
to see you again.
Good.
Yes, I'm fine, thank you. I'm glad to see you again, and I have one question, and that is it's more conceptual than practice, but anyway, the world outside exists, right? And we get in touch with it through our mind, right?
Right.
But we are going to get rid or free from our mind in the future if we practice. And is that true? I mean, is what I said, is it true?
Eventually, once you advance in your practice, your mind will find that connecting to the body is painful, harmful to the mind. So it will stop connecting to the body. The body is just like a monitor. Then use like a probe, like you send a space probe into a planet, and then the probe will collect data from the planet and send it to you back on Earth. So the mind is like someone on Earth, while the body is someone on another planet.
Okay.
And you find that by depending on the body to get things for you, it's not reliable, because the body will only last for so long. After that, it will break down. Then you have to start over again by looking for a new body. So you stop attaching to the body if you can find peace and happiness within yourself. So this is what you have to do. Try to find peace and happiness within your own self, within your mind. Once you have found that, then you can disconnect yourself from the body permanently.
Okay.
Clear?
But the outside world, I mean, what I see, it really does exist. It's not a creation from my mind. Right?
Yes, they do exist. You see it with your eyes. You hear it with your ears. You smell it with your nose. You taste it with your tongue. You feel it with your touch of your body. So everything are real, but they are natural phenomena. Natural phenomena, and they rise and cease. They keep changing. And if you rely on these things to make you happy, you will become sad sooner or later when they start to change, or when they disappear, or they transform into something else. Like the body, one day will transform back into the four elements.
All right.
When that happens, you're sad, because you have become so relying on the body that you cannot live without it. Because you need the body to get you the essential objects for you. You need the eyes to see, you need the ears to hear. When you see and hear things that you like, you feel happy. But if you meditate, then you have a different type of happiness. Happiness from meditation within your own mind. Once you can do this and do it all the time, then you don't need the body. Because the happiness that you can get from your own mind is permanent. While the happiness you get from the body, through the body, is temporary.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Ajaan.
All right. Who is next? Let me see. Say Yuan from Singapore.
Hi, Ajaan. Good evening.
Okay, speak
I have
louder.
Hi, Ajaan. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Good evening. I got one question. It's about dana and generosity. So I know the benefits of giving, and a lot of times after giving, I feel happy as well. But there are also some times when for example, I feel very inspired and I make a promise to maybe contribute to a gift, but it may cost quite a lot of money. But after some time, the feeling disappeared and I feel a little stingy, and I feel I have to part with so much money. And sometimes after I tally my monthly expenses, I see a lot of my big proportion of my salary goes to some elsewhere donation. Then sometimes I feel happy, but also some form of mild stinginess and some attachment. So want to seek Ajaan's advice on how to skillfully deal with this feeling, and what is the wise way to reflect.
When you do charity, you should not do on impulse. You should do on rationality. You have to think whether you really want to do this or not, and whether you can afford to do it or not. Once you have decided that it's a good cause and you want to do it, and you have the resource to do it, then just then do it and then forget about it. Don't have second thoughts. Because you can always look at the cost that you are supporting, that will always make you happy, or that will not make you change your mind.
So when the feelings come out, what is a skillful way to
just be more takes time to think about it first. Don't do it on impulse right away. Ask yourself, do you really want to do this? Can you really afford it? So forth. It's a good cause that you will always be happy with it. Every time you think of it, you say, oh, this is a good cause. And like maybe if you like supporting the hospital, every time you think of what the hospital can do for people, then it will always make you happy. So you have to know what you're doing and how much you can do, how much you can give.
Yeah, thank you, Ajahn. So nowadays, at work, I try to see my work as a form of giving as well. So I'm like, sometimes it gets stressful, but I try to view it as a contribution to society and helping my colleagues. So when I see that, it does make me feel happy as well.
Maybe, but to be really considered to be charity, you should not get anything in return, like salary. You should do it for free. Then you're really doing charity. But if you're still getting salary, then you're not really doing charity. You do a trading. You work for them and they give you the money. This is trading, not charity. Charity is one-way street. Give away and don't get anything back in return, except the satisfaction that you have done something noble. So that's charity.
I understand, Ajahn. Will continue practicing.
Okay. All right. The last person is Sulan from Singapore. Sulan.
Yeah. Hello, Ajahn.
Yes. You have any question today?
Yeah. I think for mine is lately I've been quite busy at work. Then I keep working and working and working. I cannot stop myself.
Can you not schedule a time for your Dharma practice?
Yeah.
Or do you have to commit all your time to other things? Why can you not commit your time to Dharma?
Yeah, this is a good question. I just even eating, I will also forget because I'm so engrossed at working. Because the work feels like a to-do list like that. So it's like weighing on my mind. So I just keep working until I just forget about the time. So it's quite unhealthy because I sleep very, very late.
Maybe it's because you need it as a way of diverting your mind from other things. Because when you're not working, you might feel lost or don't know what to do.
Yeah, maybe.
So you need to have something to keep you busy. Because when you're not busy, you don't know what to do, right? You don't know how to meditate. Once you know how to meditate, then you won't feel lost when you have nothing to do. You can, I can always meditate. So why don't you try to learn to meditate now? Set up a time for meditation every day.
Yeah.
And increase it more and more as you advance in your practice. Then you can stop working so hard. Because what you earn from your work, when you die, you don't take it with you anyway, right?
Yeah, that's right. Like I think the work.
So I work so hard for what? Just to throw away the things that you work for when you die.
Yeah, it's quite silly. It's like, but then your colleagues will follow up with you, chase you for all the work, and then there's timeline to it. So it's like the pressure is there. Yeah.
That's because you have no pleasure from meditation. So if you have pleasure from meditation, then you want to go home early and meditate instead of working.
Yeah, that's true.
So try to set up a time for meditation. Do it every day. Do it like a routine, like working.
Okay.
because you have to force your mind to do meditation. Normally the mind doesn't like meditation because it's driven by your defilement. Your defilement want activity. It doesn't want to become still. The defilement wants action. That's why everybody is acting. Everybody is moving around doing things. They don't want to be still. Only the monks in the monastery that remain still. The rest of the world, they just keep moving around in a circle, back and forth.
Yeah.
And getting nowhere.
Yeah, getting nowhere.
Just like being a monastery, you don't get anywhere either, but you don't have to get around in order to come back to the same place.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. Maybe because like work-wise, like there will be people that chase you to make sure that you do the work for them. Then whereas for like the practice, it's like we have to chase our own. Yeah, we have to chase ourselves.
You have to force yourself to do it.
Yeah.
But once you start it will become easier as you move on. You'll find it easier, and then eventually you don't even have to force yourself to meditate. Once you achieve some result from meditation, you will have the inspiration, the drive to do it yourself without forcing your mind to do it.
Yeah.
Because it's much better than working.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
You should only work for your basic necessity of life. But don't work for money more than you need. Work enough just to stay alive. Then you won't have to work so much. And you will have time to find happiness, pleasure from meditation. Okay?
Okay. Thank you, Ajaan.
Try to set up a schedule, okay? Every day, a certain hour, I say I'm going to meditate.
Yeah.
If you cannot meditate, just recite Buddha or do some chanting. First.
Yeah, that's true. I realized my to-do list is mostly about the work.
Okay. Because if you don't start, you'll never start. You have to start somewhere, sometime, and the best time is now. There's no other time better than now to start meditation.
Yeah.
Or else you keep pushing it off. Oh, tomorrow, oh, next month, next year. I'm so busy doing this and doing that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Ajaan.
All right. You're welcome. I think that's all the people who want to ask questions in the room. So let me go to save Facebook question. Are there any questions from Facebook today?
Yes, we have 14 questions from Facebook, Ajaan.
Okay, go ahead.
We have 4 questions from Panyawati Sayale. First question, Ajaan, what if people criticize teacher we admire? Example, Ajaan Cha or Lung Ta Mahabua, or the Theravada tradition. Shall we be quiet and not further talk about it in order that these people don't create unwholesome karma?
Well, you ask yourself whether your teacher can react to any of the criticism or not, or they just remain calm and not disturbed. They're the one who's been criticized, not you. So why should you be hurt for them when you're not the one who's been criticized? And besides, if you're criticized, you have to realize that you live in a world where you have to be criticized because it's part of the nature of this world. There will be praise and there will be blame. There will be like and dislike in this world by people, by other people. And you cannot force them to to like you only and not dislike you, or praise you only and not criticize you. So you just have to learn to accept the truth. There's no need to react to whatever people do or say. If you do, you go crazy because there will be millions of people doing things that you want to react to.
And how to work with the heat or anger and restlessness which arise in the mind because of that?
Well, your hate come from your expectations. You expect people to be nice to you or say nice things about your teacher. And when they don't do that, then you get angry, you hate them. So you have to get rid of this expectation from other people. Don't expect anything from people. Let them do whatever they want to do. If they want to praise, let them praise. If they want to criticize, let them criticize. Because you cannot stop them, you cannot control them. You cannot prevent them from doing what they wanted to do. So you have to get rid of your expectation from other people. Then you will not be affected by what other people do to you or to anybody.
And the third question, how to avoid to fall in the spiritual trap of thinking, like being enlightened at any state or high in Dharma. How to avoid spiritual pride in general, and what the state of your practice can this arise? I heard it is called stucking within, and it's supposedly a dangerous trap which can catch sincere practitioner with have good samadhi. Thank you.
Just keep developing mindfulness, and your mindfulness will stop all these things when it happens.
And the fourth question, what is the difference between the fifth and sixth jhana and the state of equanimity? Thank you.
Well, beyond the fourth jhana, the mind becomes calmer. That's all. The difference is in the intensity of the calmness of the mind.
Next question from Gabriel. Ajaan, I would ask if there is a guy who gives donation of $100 to the Sangha community, but he has more than $100 in his savings, and another lady who gives donation of $1, and that lady only has $1 in her savings, but he donates her only $1 in the Sangha community. In this scenario, the guy or the lady who will receive more merit? Thank you.
The merit, then there are two types of merits. The merit that you feel inside yourself depends on the percentage of your sacrifice. If you sacrifice 100%, give 100% of the possession, then you have maximum feeling of satisfaction in your mind. If you only give 50% of your wealth, then you only have 50% satisfaction in your mind. So in this case, the lady gives 100% of her wealth, even though it's just $1. So she gets 100% satisfaction or happiness. While the other person gives only half, so he have $200 and he gave away $100. So he only gives 50% of his wealth. So he has only 50% of satisfaction or happiness.
Next question from David. Ajaan, what is the meaning of nowhere? Thank you.
I think you have to look up in the dictionary. When you ask me nowhere, nowhere is not here. It's nowhere. What can I say? You know, I don't think I understand your question in regarding to the Dhamma.
Next question from Tinjak. Dear Ajaan, thank you for spending your time with us again. Forgive me if I have misheard. You mentioned that the mind is attached to the body. That's the 5 senses. This has led to suffering. What should the mind rightfully be if there's such a thing? Thank you.
Rightfully be, if there's such a thing. The mind should be in Nibbana and not in the body. The mind should be completely detached from the body forever. Then the mind will be in Nibbana, where there is no suffering. In Nibbana, there is no birth, no aging, no sickness and death.
Next question from Yapto. Namaste, Ajaan. I have a question. How can we know a monk or someone has already been Sotapanna? Thank you.
You don't know, How do you know if another person is hungry or full? You don't know unless they express themselves to you that I'm hungry or I'm full. But then again, you might be deceived because you don't really know whether they're saying the truth or not. So for me, I try not to think about what other people, what they are and what they are not. It's not important for me. It's more important to find out if I am what I am or not. If I'm full or if I'm hungry. It's better to be more concerned about yourself than other people. As far as being what, you should be more concerned whether you are Sotapanna or not. Not concerned about the other person whether they are Sotapanna or not. Unless you want to use them as your teacher, then you might want to know if they are Sotapanna or not. But then this is something very difficult to really find out. It might take time for you to be able to find out whether that person is truly enlightened or not. But by just seeing or meeting once, it's very difficult to judge.
Next question from Guna Dharma Vijaya Wangsa. Dear Ajaan, I have a question. How to start meditation for the beginner to prevent from being sleepy while meditate? Thank you.
You start with mindfulness. You start to recite Bhutto from the time you get up to the time you go to sleep. If you can do that, then you can meditate successfully.
And we have 3 questions from Kun Maitri Mitphon. Good evening, Bhante. Thank you very much for your teaching. If I'm not mistaken, you used to spend time for reading 1 hour every day while you were practicing intensively at Wat Luang Ta Mahabua. My first question is, can I also read a Dhamma book 1 hour per day?
Yes, you can read as many hours you want if you have the time, if you need to study the teaching. But I prefer that you read the teaching of the practical, the meditation masters, more than reading the scriptures, because the scripture is a lot harder to understand than reading from the teaching of the meditation masters. Because that's what you want to do. You want to learn how to meditate. You don't have to learn about other things that the scripture contains, because they are not relevant to your practice.
And second question, I used to love reading very much, but I have heard that reading during intensive practice is not good, so I try not to read, but I finally end up with senseless eating at night. I'm a lay person and still work in order to gain income to support my sick parent. I want to do intensive practice, but my condition now does not allow me to do. So by reading, won't it be hindrance for my mental training?
Well, reading has a certain limit, has a certain useful limit. Beyond reading too much will not provide you with any more usefulness. But practicing more will give you more usefulness from practicing. So you want to only read when you feel that you want to find out what you have to do and you don't know what to do. Then maybe by reading, you might find out what you have to do next. But other than that, it's better to do as much practice as possible and do as little reading as possible.
And the third question from Kun Maitri, what is my best solution about reading Dhamma book? I feel very happy and in the flow while I read Dhamma book. Thank you.
Well, if you're happy reading Dharma books, you can do it. But if you want to be happier, then you have to practice, because you get a certain level of happiness from reading Dharma books, but you get more happiness from practicing.
There are two questions from Tony Yap. Dear Thanachan, if I want to enter the stream of Sotapanna, Anagami, do I have to cut down totally sexual desire?
Well, you have to stop these activities, because they can distract your Dharma practice. They can distract you away from your Dharma practice. So you will not be able to practice enough to get into the stream. When you want to enter the stream, you want to concentrate all of your effort into the Dharma practice and not into other activities, especially sensual activities.
And last question from Tony Yap. Good evening. To being a Sotapanna or Anagami, is it a must to take 8 precepts at least once the whole life?
Well, keeping the 8 precepts will make it you become enlightened faster, easier than not keeping the 8 precepts. It doesn't mean that keeping the 8 precepts is a must, it's a mandatory, but it will support your practice of meditation, give you more time to meditate than if you're not keeping the 8 precepts.
Ajaan, one more question just come from Tony Yep. Dear Ajaan, good evening. Every time I do meditation, when start to focus and concentration on my breathing, the drowsiness start to be a kill. How to overcome it? Thank you.
The drowsiness?
Yes, the drowsiness.
The drowsiness. What does that mean, drowsiness? Can you read the question again?
He said, every time I do meditation, when start to focus and concentration on my breathing, the drowsiness start to be a kill. How to overcome it?
Start to be a cue. I think it's your drowsiness. You have to get up and do walking meditation instead. First, to get yourself to become more alert. And it will be helpful if you reduce the amount of food you eat. Like eat only before midday. Don't eat any food after midday. And this can help prevent your drowsiness from happening. Okay, is that all?
Yes,
all right. We'll come back to the room now. Anybody has a second round question? Anybody would like to ask any more questions? You're welcome. Raise your hand and unmute the microphone. Okay, looks like everybody is happy today. That's enough questions. So maybe it's about time for us to call this meeting to an end. Thank you for your attendance. I hope this meeting will benefit you and help you advance in your practice. In the meantime, please stay safe, stay mindful, and keep on practicing the Dharma teaching. And if all goes well, I'll see you again next week. Thank you and goodbye.
Sadhu.
Thank you, Ajaan.
Thank you, Ajaan.
Sadhu, thank you, Ajaan.
I know the way from San Jose.
I'll find my way there someday.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
โมทนาสาธุพระอาจารย์
ขอบคุณครับ Thank you admin ขอบคุณครับ